It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gents. 7th of June 2019, 2:15 p.m. CET. So it's not only New York Open live market coverages as well, non-farm payrolls day, and we are going to cover it live. We are going to focus on euro-dollar mostly, but don't forget, somewhere in the background there is a Canadian job market as well, so maybe USD CAD is gonna be in our interest. But before we start, quick risk warning, guys. Please bear in mind, trading FX on margin, trading crypto on margin carries a high level of risk. May not be suitable for all investors. You can sustain loss of some or all your initial investments, so please do not invest the money that we cannot afford to lose. Okay, so where we are. Nothing extraordinary, just basically, as you can see over here, Australian dollar, the remaining part with stop below the entry already, the short over here. But as I've mentioned, we are going to focus on euro dollar. We're going to discuss in a second. Euro pound, my idea haven't been triggered around 88.80, and I'm skipping for a remaining part of the day. I'm going to focus on euro dollar. Maybe it depends on the price action. Maybe this pound is going to be in focus as well, pound USD. Dollar yen, but here I need to see what is going on after the cash market open. I do expect some attempt to push it lower. I'm going to explain, if there is a time, I'm going to explain. The big news is here with dollar Chinese yuan breakout, right? We broke through very important zone. Right now the question is where we are going to be at the end of the week, at the end of the day, right? For now, huge development here, but we were prepared for it, right? We were discussing that some guys already been telling loudly that it's no longer the level doesn't matter. No, yeah, you know what I mean. So the 7 is no longer some kind of the line in the sand, right? Also, we had this Yi speech, PBOC Yi, saying that there is no such a thing like importance of the levels, right? So okay, might be, I thought that once we are going to break that through, we are going to see a little bit of the red in the indices, a little bit of the risk off, but looks like market like it. And we discussed that, yeah, weaker yuan might help Chinese economy as of now during this turbulence time. I'm talking about the US trade war, right? So that's the first very important development we've seen over the course of London session. The next thing, there was an attempt to sell off on euro dollar based on what we've seen from Bundesbank, and you can see a few lines inside the chat box. So overall, Bundesbank cuts 2019 GDP forecast to 0.6 from 1.6. At the same time, Bundesbank keeps 2019 CPI forecast at 1.4. For 2020, growth prediction is at 1.6, but CPI, 2020 CPI forecast been cut to 1.5 from 1.8, right? So there was attempt to sell off based on that news here on Eurodollar. But of course, it's a non-farm payrolls day, and not only we are talking about the euro. It's this time might be all about the dollar. And before we, on last Wednesday, we got weak. I wouldn't say very weak, but we got weak on Wednesday, weak ADP. So here we are already prepared for a little bit of the disappointment in terms of this headline. But then unemployment rate, but from the FX traders perspective, average hourly earnings, that's what we are going to focus on, right? So we might see a little bit of the volatility after the headline, but then we have to see, because if we are going to get the weak headline, then we would like to get weak earnings. If we are going to get the monster headline, we would like to have this 0.3 earnings, right? That would be the best thing, all right? That's my way of thinking. Of course, when we are talking about the euro dollar, I don't remember lately when there was a non-farm payrolls approach was, quite easy, right? We have post ADP, post ECB range, 112, 113, right? Now depends on the outcome. Either we are going to try to fade one of the range top or range bottom, or we are trying to follow the breakdown. That's actually one can argue, yeah, Piotr, it's always like this, right? Of course it's always like this. What bears might be afraid here about some kind of the megaphone creation we have here. Okay. Right, so be careful out there. And that's the one thing, right? Positive from the bull's perspective. But taking into the consideration latest price action over here, this range, we doubled that range already, right? So yeah, there is one more thing good for bears, possible over under here, right? So both sides got their arguments here. From the bigger perspective, if we manage to close, that's what we discussed this morning during the pre-London live market coverage. On the other hand, if we are going to switch to daily, right, we have a little bit bigger range, and I'm not going to be surprised with weak data that we are going to see 114 fairly quickly, right, to hit another supply zone above 13, so 14 level 1450. So I think we are going to have a time to try to join the party on euro dollar, right? Once the dust is settled, I'm going to watch dollar yen. Here the trading plan from this morning is still valid in my opinion, right? And it's going to be all about afternoon sentiment, right? In terms of the calendar, the good thing is that we don't have any University Michigan preliminary or final or whatever. So the thing is that there is a good chance, if we are going to be able to create the direction, we are going to stay with that direction towards the end of the day, all right? So 4 minutes left. Let's have a look the predictions of a few banks. The median expectations are around 175,000, all right? And then UBS 208, Scotia 200. When we are talking about the US top banks, Goldman is most bullish, 195, HSBC 192, Morgan Stanley 189, NatWest 185, RBC 185, Bank of America Merrill Lynch 180, Wells Fargo 180, BNP Paribas 175, Mizuho 175, most bearish US banks, Citi 168, and then what else? Credit Suisse 165, Nomura 165, Daiwa 160, Deutsche Bank 160. I think Deutsche should start checking his own stock price. Yeah, Jeffries 155, Societe Generale 145, and TD 140. Okay. 0.3 compared to 0.2, that's what the market is looking for when we are talking about the average hourly earnings month to month, all right? And unemployment rate steady at 3.6. So, what we are going to do, I would like to have Canadian dollars as well. So what we can try to do, something like this. And that's probably the best thing for us. Okay, so from this hourly perspective, still we are fighting around this 1260, what we discussed, if you remember. All right, so this zone broken levels, we'll see. Very interesting thing, because from the weekly perspective, that's what we discussed as well. We are trying to break the range we created late April, right, with this new breakdown over here. So 60 seconds. In that case, good luck to everyone. And we will see. "30 seconds. Just don't forget that there is a because of the terms of the use. I'm talking about the YouTube, right? There is a little bit of delay, not because of me, but because of terms and conditions. So check on your side, please, the number, right? Because here we are going a little bit later. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. There you go. So where we are, pound is testing levels around 27.30. Euro is testing most recent high. Okay. And here are the details. of the data. $75 versus 185. Average earnings 3.1 versus 3.2. Unemployment rate steady 3.6, 3.6, and dollar is losing the ground here. I'm watching out for dollar yen here. So looks like we are going to have the break to the upside on euro dollar. We are going to check the rest in a second. So overall a little bit weaker, but let me check month to the month. That's also the Canadian. Good. The headline. The Canadian, more details. Unemployment rate in Canada for 5.4 versus 5.7. So overall, right now, what I'm looking at here, I'm very interesting in between 1295, 1260, what's going to happen if we are going to see these levels. Okay, so we can get back and watch all of them. Here is a move back below the breakout point on the dollar Chinese yuan. So the remaining half, no, less than half, been stopped out on Aussie, and the stock doesn't like, Nasdaq doesn't like the data, at least for now. Dollar yen. I thought that we are going to hold weekly open, but that's the 4 minutes. Let's give them some time. And pound, don't forget, over under around 27.57. Euro dollar, either the diamond we spoke about or third touch here. Also, it could be some kind of a cup and coffee. I do know few fans of this formation. So for me, watch and see right now. Because if we are going to get the close below these highs, we've had something similar some time ago. And to be honest with you, trying to check the details, that's not the bad data. I missed somewhere the month to the month. but I'm going to figure it out. Government payroll, that's interesting. The details over here are very interested. So the private payrolls, 90, estimation 174. The government minus 15. And there is a huge disappointment here. The thing is that Mr. President Trump has to... Okay, now it's gonna be interesting. Pound and euro. So euro hit the levels we were discussing. Now it's all about how we are going to behave here. Because I may get back into that idea. Nasdaq I'm going to watch very closely. It's a neckline retest, and either we can remember we were discussing. Now I'm very interested without the lower shadow. Now I'm interested starts from the close on the day, and we are talking about 27th of March, right? It's very interesting things here. Bulls and bears should start fighting here on Nasdaq, but again here I need the daily close and weekly close, right? It was strong reversal, and if bulls are not gonna be able to use that great situation to make this V formation and push it higher, that's gonna be very interesting. But I would like to see maybe a little bit higher, right here the action, and once we are going to get the close, right? Yesterday it was to be or not to be, but if we are managed to close above the range from the 30th of May, right? So in that case, just doing the simple measure, we might get back towards 7,600, and we were discussing this. So both sides got their arguments. I'm going to look to any kind of the first initial move and some kind of the fading a little bit later on. Okay. We'll see if we can get something here, any kind of the reaction. The next possible, based on this hourly, the next possible is it's above the yearly open, and then for bears that's not gonna be good. Ooh. Looks like market is forcing. Let me check the yields. And we have on the dollar, on the index, we have a breakdown. We have a breakdown. 10-year yields retesting 206.6. 179, 2 years. But there are chances we might see a little bit of the buying coming in here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So one can argue that we are drawing big head and shoulders, right? But here we had this nice consolidation, right? Over here where we went higher. So right now it's second attempt to break lower. It's worth to watch this 78 level on 2 years. US 10s. A little bit different situation is here, right? Because there was a chance to try to create over under here, but looks like we are approaching towards the latest weakness, so I'm not going to be surprised to see them either 189 on 10s or 175 on 10s. Ooh. Ooh. Upcoming FOMC meeting is gonna be sweet. Let's have a look what we have in the calendar. Let's get back to the platform. And let's have a look what we have next week. If we are going to close that strong, I'm going to look to sell dollar. I'm talking about the hourlies. On some kind of the pullback, maybe towards this time 97.87, but I don't want to see upper shadow. So what we have next week? Japanese GDP on Monday, Chinese trade balance, looks like we have bank holiday in Europe, UK GDP, nothing extraordinary from the US. Tuesday, again GBP, core PPI and PPI from US, inflation, and CPI on Wednesday. As well as retail sales on Friday and bond market. Well, that's gonna be interesting. So, all right, but now they need just last two breaks here and here. So we had the similar situation on Aussie. I've been talking about the short. Depends where we are going to get the close at the top of the hour. and it's going to be worth to watch Chinese yuan. All right, trying to summarize, in case we are going to get the strong close, I would like to see some kind of the pullback, and based on this 15-minute chart, I would like to buy lower towards 1290, 1280, 1275, where we saw this demand right after the data announcement. Hopefully we are going to see that level. In case of the pound, we are testing really important levels. It's also in relation to the yearly open. So either upper shadow or break to the upside. And pound was looking good for a most part of the day. But right now here with euro, we'll see where is at the top of the hour. Canadian, good data, right? And looks like we might see retest of this bottom of that previous consolidation. That's what I see here. And we are testing Monday low right now on the dollar yen. But that's something I didn't expect, to be honest with you. So let's have a look if we can hold the low. If we can hold that low. Pound is reacting to the pip almost. Plenty of small levels around. There you go. We are going to be ready for a new high in a few. If you are going to close like this at the top of the hour, new high on Nasdaq is coming probably. But we need to close above the trend line. We have this over-under reaction around the Monday low, the dollar yen. So, summary. If we are going to get the close like this or higher, right? I'm going to look to buy pullback on euro dollar. As I mentioned, towards or below 1290, towards 1280. Pound, watching carefully the development here. Dollar yen as well, especially in tandem with the indices, right? So mostly I'm interested in overall in dollar, what is going to happen, right? In case of the weaker sentiment, in case we are turning red on the indices, I'm going to look to fade current Aussie trend. In case, whoa, dollar is back, not yet. In case of the current sentiment to oh, that's what I told you a second ago, and it's based on what? Haven't seen anything yet. meeting on 31st of July. There is a 66% probability of the cut. September is 92, October 95, in December 98. Wow. I'm looking for the reason of this spike. Oh, okay. US gives some time. China products more time to avoid tariffs hike. So live squawk. Jeez. And this pound is working here to the pip. But I'm not yet in. I want to see the top of the hour where we are. All right, guys. So mostly focusing on euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar yen, and Nasdaq. Right? At some point, depends on the sentiment, I may watch out for Canadian and Aussie later today. Okay, especially with Canadian, good job number depends on the sentiment, because if we are going to see red and the oil will turn red, we might see weaker Canadian besides the data, besides the good data. Alright, our next meeting is Monday 8 AM CET, pre-London Open, and Tuesday we do have a webinar where we are going to start to cover the basic stuff of the possible supply and demand. You're more than welcome to join. For today's payrolls, that's it. We did expect weaker headline, and that's what we get. But the details are not that bad. The private sector looks good. It was the government cut of 15,000. Average yearly earnings, I wouldn't say that bad. What sentiment is a sentiment attempt to break lower on the dollar index. But let's, as I mentioned, I'm going to wait towards the top of the hour, maybe a little bit longer than its option expiration and London fix. It might be, yeah, that I have to wait a little bit longer. So don't be trapped later today. If you are good for a week, you might want to end up right now. If you are red for a week, you shouldn't try to recover Friday afternoon after the payrolls, right? Guys, that's it. It was my pleasure to meet with you again. See you around as early as Monday morning, 8 AM CET. Goodbye, have a good one.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.